Welcome to my latest experiment. This is the big one, the one I've been waiting for all my life.
What is it?
Try to imagine all life as you know it stopping instantaneously and every molecule in your body exploding at the speed of light.
Oh my God.
The cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
And I am the voice of the voiceless.
And there is no one that does it better.
The Guy and Harley Podcast, streaming all over your face.
Perhaps that was the most important part.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Pigville on the internet. Last name ever. First name greatest. Like a sprained ankle, boy, I ain't nothing to play with. Started off local, but thanks to all the haters, I know G4 pilots on a first name basis. Welcome to the Guy and Harley Podcast. I'm Guy Pigden.
And I'm Harley Neville. Who was that?
And that was Drake.
Oh, Dr. Ake.
Yeah. Last name ever.
Yeah. Mr. Ever, as he's known.
Okay.
I'm noticing a recurring theme in the hip hop you like, which is it's all about how rich you are and the cool people that you know.
Well, yeah, he wasn't really bragging about his riches. To be honest,
He's saying he knows G4 pilots on first name basis because he flies with them all the time.
Yeah, well, I guess
jet.
There's a status of success.
Yeah.
As opposed to necessarily, I mean, obviously he has to be rich as well to do that, but still. I feel like I pick lyrics that are definitely, there's some lyrics that are sort of misogynistic lyrics.
Because you hate the bitches.
Because I hate women. And also...
Guy's going through a breakup at the moment.
And also...
you might have noticed.
Successful, yes, successful, but not so much actual ones where it's like, hey, I'm rich, suck it. Because I actually don't really love those unless they're super clever. But also, a lot of these ones I'm picking a lot of these ones recently I've been picking ironically because I haven't been picking any lyrics that I actually like. I've been picking lyrics that seem kind of silly when you break them down.
Well, look, this episode of the podcast, we have updates out the fucking wazoo. It's all happening. It's all go. And we're 3 days late, and it's also going to be a short episode. So late and short, story of my life. Sorry, Paulette, who likes to listen to this while she's doing her cleaning. The creator of Internationum, she likes to listen while she's cleaning. Sorry, Paulette, it's going to be a short one because I've got to go to work.
Yeah, well, I guess we do have quite a lot to talk about. We also ended the last one on a cliffhanger, but I can't remember what the cliffhanger was.
Well, I do. I remember what it was.
Oh, what?
It was that you had an audition.
Oh, right. It seems so long ago. It was so long ago.
Yeah.
I had an audition for an ad, which was basically where I played a dad who had no... This is the thing that they like to do with ads. Like, they send you the script, and you read it, and you go, okay, where am I? Oh, I'm this... dad/uncle character who's sitting at the table with some kids. He doesn't have any lines. Still pays, $5,000 or something like that. But I have no lines, so I'm not even the main guy. I'm just essentially a featured extra. And you go, right, okay, featured extra dad/jovial uncle. Okay, sweet. So I'm going to be at a table smiling. And then when you get to the audition, they love to throw these surprises on you where they're like, oh, actually, this is completely pointless because you won't be doing any of this in the ad, but actually, could you improvise talking to some little kids that are coming over to the table, and you're having a joke and you're just having a laugh with them and you're telling them off, but not in a mean way, and you're kind of like, yeah, I guess I can do all that. Imagine some imaginary kids running up to me and pretend to talk to them. The hardest kind of acting, the pretending acting, nothing to react off. And also the real issue there is there's no script. So they're like, just make up some stuff. And you're like, make up what? I'm not a fucking dad.
Did you?
I don't know what you... I don't know how to talk to kids. Shut the fuck up, you little shitheads. fucking get down to the table, and if I hear another peep out of you motherfuckers, you are going straight to your room with no bed and no fucking tablet. That's right. Not gonna let you watch any of your shitty fucking, what's that show, Peppa Pig, on your fucking iPad tonight, because that's how much you're all fucking me off.
And
see, that would be how I would in real life do it.
And that right there, dear listener, is a window into Guy's childhood. Right there. And not only do they, in Guy's childhood, he didn't get sent to bed with no supper. He got sent to bed with no bed. And because that's what you just said then, but that's good. When Guy was naughty, he got made to sleep on the floor, the cold wooden floor in Dunedin. Window. Yeah, so
the cats just got to sleep on my bed while I had to sleep on the floor.
The myriad of cats, the swarm of cats that your mum breeds.
So anyway,
Guy hates cats to this day because his mum bred them and loved the cats more than him,
and spent more money on them than me. So anyway. And so you got to improvise this stuff, and that's not immediately you're thrown off, and you're like, okay, well, I don't really know what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm trying to take your suggestions on board, but you haven't really given me any dialogue, so I'm just trying to be like a smiley, goofy guy. But the worst thing
Did you pretend to steal his ghost nose? Did you steal the ghost kid's ghost nose and like with your thumb and go like, oh, got your nose?
No, but I may have done like a little hand slap,
like a pretend high five.
No, like a pretend don't take any of those potatoes before you wait till everyone else is here, you bloody rascal. But the weirdest thing was that because this was a last minute audition, they were basically auditioning people. They had to do it very quickly because I think they had to make a decision like the following day. That I think maybe the initial casting had fallen through, so they were auditioning people 2 at a time. So not only am I doing this weird pantomime with these kids trying to improv crap, right next to me is the guy that would also play this role, also improvising crap to imaginary kids on the other side of the table. We're in a 2-shot, and that is really weird because normally you audition 1 at a time. You don't audition at the same time for the same thing.
And who are they watching? Are they meant to be watching both of you at the same time and figuring out which one's doing it better? That's so ridiculous.
Just save some time to audition people 2 at a time, have them all talking over each other, and then we were kind of like meant to be like, the kids, eh? yeah, the kids, talking to each other, giving a little fist bump or something, and it's like, we're the same person. This is crazy. So that was one of the weirder auditions that I've had, which completely threw me off, and I did terribly. And just in case you're wondering, I did not get that audition.
Well, I had an audition too, but we won't play the good for you, because not only I had the audition, it's done, and then I've heard that I didn't get it, so there's no point. But I had an audition for paying $5,000. Went pretty well. Got a callback. When I did a second audition, that means I get like a $50 callback fee.
$50 in your purse.
Yeah. Minus $20 or so worth of fees and taxes, but still $30 for going to an audition. And then so I got a callback, did my second audition, and then I was on hold, and presumably it was down to me and one other, and it was the other fucker. Fuck that guy. Bit disappointed, but it is what it is. Moving on.
I will say, I think we talked a little bit about it, but schlubby dads, man, are just
a dime a fucking dozen.
Well, but they're also the most sought after ad guy at the moment.
That's true. There was when I walked into the callback, right? They had between 10 and 15 guys in the room. Right? It was like a fucking freaky scene out of the Twilight Zone. It was just schlubby dads everywhere. Just schlubby dads, a room full of schlubby dads. And you're right. It's all about the schlubby everyman nowadays.
And I was thinking...
I'm not complaining.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a problem for me because I don't...
Too tall, dark and handsome.
I don't quite fit into the schlubby dad mold, but I'm not handsome enough to be like the super handsome guy, which is the super handsome dad. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle, and it just doesn't really the no man's land essentially. But no rolls land. No rolls land. Yep, that's where I mainly spend my time.
Now we had better address the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
You are moving out of Pigville Productions. It's breaking up. We essentially decided we could not come to an agreement about this whole poetry thing. We've decided to disband Pigville. we are no longer friends, and Guy's moving out.
And this is the last
and
podcast
this
that
is
we'll
the
do
last
together.
episode of the podcast.
Yeah. Well, that's not entirely true. None of those things are really true. I actually had to move out more specifically because my girlfriend is moving out and is not remain a conscious uncoupling is what is happening. As Gwyneth Paltrow would put it. So that is what's happening.
So you're having a conscious uncoupling.
Yep.
Now, are you? What's going on? Are you single? Or
I'm
not?
single, ready to mingle.
You're single and ready to mingle, but you still share a bed with your girlfriend.
Well, yeah, but obviously that's about to end quite soon in approximately 2 weeks' time from now.
Yeah.
So, my life's been thrown into turmoil. I'm also really poor. I have to find a new place. I found a new place, thank God, and it wasn't actually that difficult. And also, thank God, it's only 4 minutes away from this current flat.
So the podcast should continue.
So the podcast can continue.
Now, this episode of the podcast is 2 days late already, and we live literally through the wall from each other.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit concerned about us finding the time to go to one another's houses. I also don't really like the idea that the mics are going to be at one person's house or another.
Yeah.
They're probably going to be at your house.
Yeah, they're going to be at mine for sure.
Which means that I'm going to be expected to travel once a week.
Yep.
Over
Across
to Guy's
the bridge.
place.
Across the bridge. I'm just across the Bond Street Bridge in Kingsland now. I've become a Kingslander. I'm part of King's
Landing.
Landing. Yeah.
The Hound. He's Joffrey. He is Joffrey of Kingsland. He is Prince Joffrey of Kingsland.
Before it could have been Ned Stark.
Well, no, Ned Stark's from Winterfell, you Wally.
Oh, right. So it has to be someone, but he was the King's Hand.
He was briefly, yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, that's happened. And obviously, moving is like the worst.
Oh, it's horrible, isn't
Well,
it?
they say, well, my sister said it was one of the most, one of the top 5 most stressful things in your life that you deal with. That's one of them.
Well, why is your sister an authority on that?
Because she's studying psychology.
Right.
So she knows about these types of things.
Right.
She also said that she's been catching up on the podcast recently.
She's gone into the archives.
And she listened to episode 25, where apparently I had to explain to Harley what Netflix is.
What's a Netflix?
What do you mean the Netflix? What are you kids talking about with your nets and your flicks? I'd catch a what? Catch a flick with a net?
Is basically that was what Harley was like, and I explained to him what Netflix was.
So go back and listen to episode 25 if you want to hear what she's talking about.
Which was approximately a year ago, which means that Netflix had been around for approximately 3 or 4 years before that. But there you go.
There you go. I don't waste much time watching stuff. Yes. Oh, and so that means that now I am looking for flatmates as well. Because got to fill the room.
How's it going?
Well, not that great, really.
To be honest, I had like a chill in my stomach, like, when I kind of looked at the room.
Yeah.
And I looked at the price, and like I sort of looked at the room that I just got for my price.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit. Like, obviously this flat is nicer. It's not actually a better room, so to speak. The flat itself is nicer.
Yeah.
But I was like, shit, that's like really expensive.
Yeah. I guess the thing is you're looking for a couple.
Yeah, you are. And that's the thing is there's a lot of people that don't want couples. They're like, sorry, no couples.
Yeah.
And so hopefully that balances out. The price sort of balances out with the fact that couples are desperate.
We might be getting in my girlfriend's sister. That's a potential.
Oh yeah,
just there.
Well, that's always good because that way they can just
good.
gang up on you.
Yeah, well, I was a little bit concerned.
and judge you for everything that you do every second of the day.
They can gangbang up on me.
And also keep tabs on what you're doing. So, like, where are you going to have your peace and quiet to have a quiet beat at your computer if your sister's... Because Angie leaves, but the sister... What's the sister's name again? Lena. She's still there.
Well, I don't... My masturbation is not so loud that she'll be able to hear it from her room.
I don't know. These walls are paper thin.
I don't even like the audio on my pornography. Like when you're watching porn online, I pretty much turn it down every time.
Yeah.
I want to hear that fapping noise. No, like you don't want to hear because it's all so contrived. Oh yes, oh yeah. It's just it's distracting.
Yeah.
You got to be able to concentrate. So you shut up, bitch. You turn it down.
Second misogynistic joke of the podcast.
Well, yeah.
In case you keep a count.
If you're playing the drinking game, if you're playing the Guy and Harley Podcast drinking game, that's 2 shots.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of masturbation, I have an update on my Sperm Quest.
Yep.
So I am thinking about donating sperm. Guy thinks it's a bad idea.
Yep.
We had conversations about it in previous episodes.
Yep.
I have gone into the clinic. I had an appointment. I went into the clinic. I met with the lady, looked at her, looked at all the paperwork, looked at her,
looked her up and down, dropped your pants,
and
they said,
wanking.
"Sir,"
I was like, "Is this how it works? Is this how it works?
Please, sir, this is just a consultation." You go, "Am I doing it right?" Beating off furiously
in her office
at her. Yeah. Am I doing it right?
Here, catch.
So you did that.
So I went in, and it was a 45-minute consultation talking about the different aspects of it and stuff. And then I did have to provide a sample. So
on the day.
Mm-hmm. Well, in fact, I had to have the 3-day stand down beforehand. Managed to get through it. Managed to get through that 3-day abstinence.
Yeah.
Went into so we had the consultation, did some paperwork and stuff, and then she sent me off into this little room, and there was some porn there and I wasn't really sure what to expect with the porn. I assumed they would have porn, but I was also like, well, what kind of porn is it going to be? Like, is it just going to be like, I assumed it was going to be sort of softcore Playboy centerfold style porn, like tasteful porn, because I was like, well, who buys this porn? How do they get the porn in? And like,
who's the porn selector?
Exactly, who is the porn selector? That's an interesting job. And and I was just like, yeah, well, I don't know, it's a company, it's a business, they've probably got some sort of restrictions on it. Anyway, I went in there. You'll be happy to hear, Guy, it is an equal opportunity wank space. They had heterosexual and homosexual pornography.
That's good.
And I, it was all like pretty hardcore porn. Like there was anal and facials, and they weren't using condoms,
so this was not magazines. This was
magazines.
All right. What about DVDs?
Nah, no DVDs.
So nothing watchable.
But just magazines. But let me tell you, no shit. One of the magazines had the pages stuck together.
Of course it did.
They'd ripped it open, but you could see that it obviously it had there had been a splash and someone had come on the magazine. Now, come on, man.
That's a replaceable
Okay, for a start,
thing.
That is a replaceable thing. That's very replaceable. You'd think they'd check that every day or laminate the fucking things. Okay, and secondly, like, how come are you spunking all over the fucking room? Like, you've got to come into
like a madman.
Like a madman, exactly. You've got to come into a specific container.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I went in there and there was the porno, and then I was like, well, how long is a good amount of wank time? Because I've just been talking to this girl. I don't want to bust out of the door 23 seconds later and be like, here you go. That's embarrassing. But I also don't want to be in there for 25 minutes and they're like, what's he doing in there?
Yeah.
So I had to find that balance.
Yeah. You had to find that balance of sitting there doing nothing for 5 minutes before you instigated the 23 seconds required.
Yeah, exactly.
And so then you had your cup of jizz.
Yeah. So then,
And now, did you just put that, did you hand that over to someone, or did you just put it through like a little cubby
so
hole
you had to
and you
take
go,
it-
here you go, and then it just disappears?
No,
down a chute.
No, it wasn't down a chute. So I had to. So I walked out with my container of jizz. With a sealed cap in a plastic bag, and I had to walk out, and I had to walk directly back to the counter where I'd just been talking to this lady earlier, to the exact same woman. She knows exactly, what I'm up to, and she's the one receiving the sample. So it was, I was fine about it. I was cool. I was cool, calm, and professional, and so were they. But it was definitely a little bit awkward. My face was all red. There was a bead of sweat dripping down my face.
Yeah. Well, also, that in the office where you can't see, there's a big sign up on the wall, and the sign says,
"Do not flirt with the customers."
No, it says, "Remember, do not judge these creepy perverts!"
Yeah.
Exclamation point. And it's just there, and they just have to keep, every time they see someone come back out of there, they look up at the sign and they go, "Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. We'll take that off your hands."
So that's the Sperm Quest update.
So what? They're going to run that in the lab?
Yeah, so basically they freeze it and then thaw it to make sure it freezes and thaws okay. Then they do a thing where they clean away all of the other fluid, so it's only the actual sperm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what or how.
Hell of a job.
Hell of a job. What do you do? Sperm cleaner. And they do various tests on it to make sure that it can be frozen and will last, because it needs to last for a long time.
Yeah.
But they said that if I do actually end up being a donor, that I'll need to come in between 8 and 15 times to get the sheer volume required. Between 8 and 15 times.
Jesus.
8 and 15 wanks in a cup. They better get some new magazines in there. I tell you what, I'll be having words to management.
I'm kind of shocked that they didn't have any video material.
Yeah, I guess they don't want you settling in and
They don't want you getting comfy.
Yeah. Well, you would think they would just have a computer open on a porn site, where it's just so look up whatever you want, probably have some restrictions.
Well, that's the thing. I guess they want to limit, they're like, look, how many pedophiles do we get in here? Most of them? Okay, how can we stop them from looking up that stuff? Well, we can't give them access to the computer. They probably already did. They did probably have access at one point, and they had an iPad sitting there, and now they've just had to confiscate that because too much weird shit was being looked at.
You would think, though, that they could at least have an iPad that you with a whole bunch of images on it that you can flick through, right? Instead of a magazine which can get jizzed on and the pages stuck together.
Well, I guess they felt like they could sacrifice the magazine.
Yeah.
But if that jizz gets into the iPad instrumentation, it's just going to ruin everything.
It's just ruin the fun for everyone.
So that is Harley's Kiwi life.
Yeah.
That's
my wanking.
my wanking life.
That's the new segment.
That's Harley's new segment on the show.
Now, speaking of my Kiwi life, my wanking life, do you have a my shitty life this week? Because it was somebody online specifically requested. Do you remember who that was?
I think it might have been Paulette.
Was it? Yeah.
But
it was Paulette.
This happens to me all the time. I did actually have one, and then I just forgot it because I didn't write it down. I have good ideas quite often that I don't write down and forget, and they're lost. So I don't have any my shitty life.
Just make it up as you go. My shitty
okay.
life.
Well,
Actually,
I do have one.
All right.
My shitty life. I really hate my life today. My shitty life. Work for less than minimum wage. This is my shitty life. If you think about it, an ex-girlfriend on Facebook is just another troll. This is my shitty life.
There you go, Paulette. Hope that made you feel better.
Because once you've broken up with them, and they're just still there, either to comment on your stuff annoyingly or remind you of the the sadness and despair that you feel because their life is so much better than yours. Yeah, that's just that's not a friend, that's a troll. So that's been my episode of my shitty life.
Now, speaking of your shitty life, Ubering, how's that going?
I tell you what, you want to look, Paulette, don't feel too bad because my life is really shitty at the moment. So, if you've got problems, I've got some fucking problems. So, not only do I have to move and obviously breaking up with my girlfriend and all this stuff is befalling me, the paying for the move is a real issue because the bond is about twice as much as the bond is here, which means that I have to come up with that money and also come up with, an extra at least 1 to 2 weeks rent out of my ass in 2 weeks. So, I've turned to Uber. And, I read an article recently about Uber which said, basically a lot of Uber drivers were quitting because they're now with the way that they've, they've removed these rules that you had to get a passenger service license and all this stuff. So basically any fucking nut job with a nice car and a clean record. So some boy racer who hasn't been caught yet but has a super flash fast car could be driving you, could be Ubering you about. No regulations or anything like that. He'll just be speeding you about, putting your life in danger. And anyway, so they're quitting because of that, and also because Uber basically have reduced their prices for passengers about 40% since they started. So it went down 15%, and then it went down another 10%. And then it went down another 20%, something like that. And so basically that's cutting, imagine if you're getting paid and then minus 20% of your pay. It's quite a lot, especially if it started, quite a bit higher to begin with. And so what's happened is I've kind of come in, Harley talked about the Uber bubble bursting. He's like, what if the Uber bubble bursts? Well, that's fucking burst. It has burst big time. So essentially I read this article and they're like, yeah, we're quitting, blah, blah, blah. Because if you think about it, he was like, if you think about it and you're making $25 an hour, let's just do some simple maths on that. And he was like, so minus this much for petrol. So it was $8 an hour for petrol.
$8 an hour? It seems like a lot.
Yeah, it does. That is a bit extravagant, for sure. I think it's more like $5 an hour. And then minus insurance, minus this, minus that, minus tax that you have to pay, because the other thing is Uber takes a cut and then you pay your tax after they've taken their cut. And you have to do that yourself. So you have to be disciplined enough to take out 20% or whatever, however much tax it is per week, and just put that somewhere for a year, which, let me tell you, it's not actually that easy. So anyway, and he sort of calculated out to be about $8 or $9 an hour after all that stuff for a sort of a proper full shift. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, this is bullshit. This is bullshit. So I worked and so I've been doing on and off, and it can vary a little bit, but I worked on Saturday night, right, which is peak Ubering time. It's when they charge the surcharges at a certain point. It's when there's meant to be the most sort of people to be picked up. And I did a 10-hour shift and I made $253. And I was like, yeah, fuck, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it was $25 an hour, right?
Yeah, that's fucking solid. And then I was like, oh, wait, hang on. I got a minus 20% for tax. That's $83 or something like that, $82. I was like, okay. So that's actually quite a lot less. And then I was like, how much petrol did I spend? I spent about $40 on petrol that night. Oh, okay. And then, I divided it back up, and I was making, and this also I should add, is not including my insurance per week. It's not including my ACC bill that I have to pay at the end of the year.
Or the payments for the car and all
and
that
it's
stuff as well.
definitely not including my $80 a week that I pay on my car. So I'm not including a bunch of quite big expenses. I was making $13 an hour.
Yeah.
Just let that sink in. $13 fucking an hour below minimum wage.
But it's not below minimum wage if it's after tax, because minimum wage is $15.50.
Yeah.
You pay 20% tax on that.
Yeah.
You're not going to be getting 13.
That's true.
So it's not actually minimum wage.
It's not quite. It's probably
not great.
about minimum wage.
Yeah.
It's minimum wage, but the problem is, what are you doing while you're Ubering about? Well, you're responsible for the lives of all the passengers in your car. You're kind of
You're a brand ambassador for Uber as well.
Yeah, you are kind of under the pump to make sure that you don't take any weird routes to get somewhere or you get starred down. Don't do anything to offend the passengers or you get starred down. Don't crash, which is incredibly easy to do on a Saturday night when you're basically pulling over in the middle of the road to pick up these people who will star you down if you don't. And you've got to, I guess, mentally think about, driving very well for 10 hours. So it's not like you're just fucking mindlessly flipping burgers for that time. And also you're depreciating your car at sort of like 4 or 5 times the rate you would be if you were just driving it normally.
Yeah.
And your car costs a lot of money. So really, at this stage, Uber is horrible. It is really, it's like the dream is totally over. There's still the benefit that you can do it at any time. But it's brutal out there, man. So the Uber is not going good. It's going so bad that I literally went to my work and I was like, okay, you know how I, said, fuck you,
guys.
fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Not you, you're cool. Fuck you, I'm leaving. Can I come back?
Yeah.
And have actually asked not to do quite as many. I just asked for one extra shift because I'm still getting jobs through my filmmaking for 90 seconds. But yeah, it was just quite horrifying to me that I'd gone through essentially this 4-month ordeal to get to Ubering, to get to being paid less than minimum wage.
So you're going to sell the Prius and just put this all behind you if you stop Ubering, or what's the plan?
No, I'm going to sort of wait it out because I do think that I guess, payment structure is so horrifically skewed to screw the drivers that ultimately the backlash will force Uber to do something.
Yeah, now you might be on something there, but the problem is there's lots of workers from places like India who come in and they work really hard on these things. So it's the same in hospitality.
Yep.
They come in and they work in the kitchen and they'll sign a deal for a salary for $30,000 a year working, 50 hours a week.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, because they need the job and because
Yeah.
they it's still a lot of money by the time you send it home and stuff like that. And the conversion and blah blah blah. So the problem is there's a lot of people who are willing to work for crap money.
Yep.
And they kind of ruin it for everyone. And there's this huge influx of them in Auckland, these people that are willing to work for shit money. And so, maybe this is just why 9 times out of 10 you get in an Uber and it's an Indian guy. It's because they're the only ones that are kind of wanting to work for these types of wages, and all us whiteies,
all us rich
sell up and give up on
folk.
that shit. Too hard basket.
I think I think the problem is that you're also getting very unskilled people to do it. So I do think, and then because that's the thing is Uber's reputation is very important to them, that they don't have rapist taxi drivers and they don't have really poor drivers. And what they've done is open the gates to all of those types of people like straight away. And there will be some sort of backlash to that because ultimately you do need to have like even just some sort of abilities that I don't think that, just the average Joe super poor Uber driver is necessarily going to be able to get. So I think that you might be right, but I also think that ultimately and these things move very slowly, they may sort of go, look, we really tried to fuck you there for a while. Now we're just going to go back to not really fucking you too bad. How does that sound? And everyone will go, yes, thank you, thank God.
Maybe it all depends on that bottom line.
Well, the problem is also, though, you know, like their whole logic is completely flawed as in like their validation for it. You know, they're like, well, we bring the prices down and we bring our rules down, and that drives up the demand, and that's more bums on seats. Like, that is literally their corporate statement on this whole thing. And it's like, yeah, but then if there's not more demand if you have more Uber drivers on the road. There's the same or less demand for the new demand. So it doesn't mean that you're getting more rides. It could mean you're getting less rides, because when there used to be one Uber driver, there is now 10.
Yeah, but from Uber's perspective, it doesn't matter.
Oh no,
They
but I
get the
guess
money,
my point is for them, that was the point they were making to their drivers, to say like, hey, this is a good thing for you guys. And it's like, no matter how you cut it, it is a very bad thing for us. And I guess I just didn't like the kind of the fakery of that corporate speak to try and sort of justify. It was like, no, look, if you just break this down very elementary using some degree of logic, what you're saying is all drivers are going to get paid less and are going to have to work more, and they may not have more work to do. So Uber's not going great, but I will persevere for now. If I have too many more of these $13 an hour days, I may reconsider. But again, it is just something to top me up. So thank God I just wasn't like, oh, I'm going full-time Uber now, because then I'd be really up shit creek.
Right, well, look, we are drawing to the end of this episode, believe it or not, because I need to go. But a couple of quick things to touch on. One, I apologise to the disabled man. You will recall last episode I said that there was a man with a stroke.
Yep, stroke victim.
He was working at
him.
Caltex, and I shouted at him for suggesting that I should have to buy something in order to get cash
and
out.
made him break his staff rules. and company policy.
Then I physically intimidated him into giving me the cash out
and risking being fired himself
because I didn't want to buy a $1 piece of licorice.
Yeah.
That's not what happened. Go back and listen to the previous episode if you want to get caught up. Now I went back in and I approached him directly and I said, "Hey, sorry I was rude to you last time." And he was like, "That's fine." And I was like, "I was having a really shitty day." And he was like, "Yeah, it's really fine. It's fine."
"Really, sir? Please just don't hurt me and just take your things and go away. Thank you. That's fine." And you're like, "No, I'm apologizing to you.
Apologize.
Don't fuck with me.
I'm apologizing to you, Strokey.
You fucking handicap."
Too much.
Yeah, so that's good.
So I apologized anyway.
Well, that's good. It meant nothing to him. You ruined his day once, and the apology seemed very, very insincere. And
that's not true. I made meaningful eye contact. It was very sincere. Now, speaking of apologies, we better apologise to Trudy. Now, last week as well, we said about Trudy who wanted the DVD for free.
Yeah,
and I was like, "Oh, bloody Trudy, sort it out. You know, we're not giving away this stuff. It's art. We don't give it away." Trudy and Graham have bought the DVD. So thank you very much, guys. There's even talk of buying my T-shirts. So
we take it all back.
We take it all back, and thank you so much. I just met with Sam Wheeler, who is also a big supporter, bought the DVD, listens to the podcast. Big shout out to Sam about animating Saturn's Return, because he's an animator.
Yeah.
So we've formed a plan. Wheels are in motion.
Cool.
I've actually got a whole bunch of other things here, but I really kind of need to go. So for me, I'm going to finish on my T-shirts are available now, my poetry T-shirts. So they've been selling all right. I've got a couple of $100 in my PayPal account.
Sounds pretty good.
It does sound pretty good. And a lot of it's US dollars as well. It's not all US dollars, but some of it is. No, actually, no, it is. It's all US dollars, now that I think about it. But so anyway, it's T-shirt sales, and I get 37.5% of every T-shirt sold. So that's kind of awesome. It's just passive income. I zero investment, and all I need to do is oversaturate the internet with the link, which is currently what I'm doing. So if you guys want a t-shirt, please go to Facebook, facebook.com/GuyAndHarley, and you'll see it there. You'll also be able to find it if you add me, Harley Neville, on Facebook, and the links will be there as well. So yeah. And also, if you just watch any of our Pigville videos, most of them have a link below somewhere. So try that out too. What do you got to end on, Guy?
Well, I mean, I should just mention I was approached by a guy that you were not at the door. Like, I opened the door. That's a big problem. You get a knock from a stranger, don't open the door. Just never do it. It never ends well.
Yeah.
How's it, does anyone ever come and go, hey,
Want a blowjob?
Yeah, or here you go, sir, here's $1 million. No, they want something from you. They want to take from you. And so in this case, this was like this guy, kind of fast-talking Frenchman. Now, I told you I didn't like the Germans. I definitely don't like the French either. Rude.
We're thinking there's a French guy coming to look at the flat on Friday.
Rude, number one, but number two, again, it's just my dealings with the Frenchman, who is just a total fucking doofus at everything he did. And everything he did, like there was
the guy at the door.
No, someone who worked on our film.
Oh, right.
But sort of like every single thing he did blew up and ruined something.
Yeah.
Just every single choice he made was terrible.
Yeah.
And so I think I have some residual hate from that.
Yeah.
But anyway, he came to the door and he was like, "Hey, sir, how would you like? Sir, how would you like? How would you like to sign up to Fatso?" Now, do you know what Fatso is?
Yeah, I saw your Fatso DVD down there.
Fucking
It's fat
Fatso.
Fat girl porn, right?
It's no.
Fatso.com. It's just where all the fat girls porn, and
It's
you're into that.
The most antiquated system. This was around back when we were in Wellington.
Yeah.
So it was like 10 years ago.
Post DVDs out to you.
Yeah, and that's when I originally signed up to them and realized that they sucked fucking balls. Now, since 10 years ago, a lot of things have happened in the world.
Netflix?
Mainly Netflix and the fucking future, which is video on demand, streaming, downloading, like all that stuff didn't really exist back then. Guess what? Fatso's model has not fucking changed. So so this guy comes in and he goes, how would you like 6 free DVDs? And I was like, well, yeah, I guess I'd like that. How would you like some free popcorn? Yeah, I guess I'd like that. Well, all you have to do is sign up with Fatso. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. And he's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And he kind of just talked, the thing about these people that are trying to get you, they just kind of keep talking at you and not really registering your negativity until you kind of like, I just want you to go away. Yeah, okay, sure. And, of course, he was like, I just take your credit card details. I was like, well, I don't want to be charged. I don't want a Fatso account. And he was like, well, you won't be. Don't worry, you won't be charged.
You really shouldn't be giving your credit card details to some
random
dude who knocks on your door.
Well, to be honest, you put it into the online thing.
Right.
Now, technically, that guy could be accumulating credit card numbers with a fake Fatso thing and just walking away and going and buying shit. But he couldn't get anything on my card anyway because it's way over the limit. So suck on that, buddy.
Suck on that, you frog.
But anyway, he came up and he was trying to sell this stuff and he was like, what do you like? What do you like? And I was like, I don't know. I like all types of films. He goes, but do you have a specific kind of film? And I was like, no, I really just like all types of films. He's like, yeah, but what genre? And I was like, yeah, I don't have a preference. I like all types of films. He's like, oh, well, what about comedy? Do you like comedy? And I was like, yeah, sure, because I like all types of films. And he's like, okay, well, how would you like this? And I was like, seen it. So he listed off like 20 things that I'd seen because I've seen everything. It's my fucking job is to watch films. That's part of being a filmmaker is you got to watch films. So he listed off a bunch of shit. He'd run out of all the mainstream titles because I'd all seen them all. And then he got into like obscure shit that, I obviously didn't want to see because I would have seen it otherwise, probably at the movies. And he's like, oh, how about Death at a Funeral? And I was like, sure, whatever. And he was like, okay, we'll put that on, and all you have to do is you'll get 6 more after this one, and blah, blah, blah. And by the way, you'll start being charged in a month.
And do you have to post them back?
Yeah, so the problem with Fatso is so many-fold. For starters, right, you go online, they don't have an amazing selection. Like, they don't have every movie ever. If they did, that would be cool because, that would mean you could get obscure titles. But actually, they have mainly just whatever.
Do they have I Survived a Zombie Holocaust?
I didn't ask. Well, I'll have to look on my Fatso account. But essentially, so they don't have like super rare stuff, and that could be its thing. They just have mainly mainstream stuff. But it gets even worse than that. So when you order a title, a lot of the times they don't have it in. So they go, make sure you have heaps of films in your Fatso queue in case we don't have the one you want. And it's like, so let me get this straight. I want to watch a movie today. I want to watch a specific movie. Sorry, can't get that movie now. You might get it in 3 or 4 days.
How long does it take for a movie to arrive once you order it?
So, well, that's the thing. It depends whether it's in or not. So
say it's in.
So if it says in, it'll take another day.
So that's such a weird, like, that's just never going to last, is it? It's fucking preposterous because, you can just get it instantly online or in a day and then have to post it back.
And also, that's the thing is you can't even do that because you go, okay, sweet, I want to watch a movie in 3 days' time.
Yeah.
And then you select that and then they go, sorry, it's not in. So we'll put it in your queue, but we don't know when it's coming to you. Which is fucking stupid. At least if you're going to provide this shitty, antiquated service, at least have enough titles in so that
at least just have a fucking DVD burner. Burn some DVDs and send it out to you. Like, yes sir, we'll get that away to you right now. Send.
But just do like it just like fundamentally planning ahead 3 days to watch something doesn't make sense. Planning ahead as many days as it takes for them to get the right film in doesn't work. DVDs don't work. Sending DVDs in the mail doesn't work. All of these things are completely broken. Why? Like, I thought when he came to me, he was like, do you know we have this amazing new online function, sir? All of our titles are now online. No more postage. You just have to click online and you can download it straight away for streaming or whatever. No, they don't have any of that. So it's like the postman coming and trying to go, hey, have you heard about this cool thing called sending letters? You can do it. You just write them on a piece of paper, tuck it in this little envelope, pay this postage money, and then walk to the post office, put it in, send it away. Way better than emails. Forget fucking emails. That's what this guy was doing.
Yeah.
So
well, the thing is, you're the idiot that signed up.
Well, the thing is, I did want... what sold me was the free popcorn, to be honest. He had a popcorn in his thing.
Yeah.
And of course, I don't get charged if I send that DVD back and quit within a month. And I could get 6 DVDs if I want to for free. I probably won't.
Keep?
No.
You still got to send them back.
So basically, you get them and you can keep them for as long as you like, but then you can't get more until you've sent those back.
Right.
But it's just it's lame as fuck. Fatso, you're fucking lame as fuck.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you right now that your business model was kind of shit 10 years ago, but kind of novel, and is now just total and utter shit. So, yeah, I do not advise doing that, really. It's not worth it.
So, that is that for Fatso, and that is that for this episode of the podcast, because I am getting late. It's rush hour. It's 5:15, and I start at 5:30.
Yeah. Well,
I'm fucked.
Spare a thought for me, mate. I've had 2 hours sleep. I've worked 16 hours, and now I've got to fucking edit this podcast and put it online.
Right, yeah. Well, please go and find us on YouTube. Search Pigville. Please find us on Facebook, facebook.com/GuyAndHarley. If you're looking for a movie to watch, don't go to Fatso. Go to iTunes and search I Survived a Zombie Holocaust.
And get it like a modern 21st century person would.
Although if you would like some DVD postage, if you just want to invite some DVD postage into your life, you can get a signed, personalised copy direct from us of I Survived a Zombie Holocaust.
And we won't ask you to send it back. And we have copies in stock, so we won't ask you to wait for it either.
Exactly. So go to facebook.com/ISAZH. That's I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, ISAZH, and you can order there a personalised signed copy direct from us, the filmmakers. It's the way that we make the most profit out of it, and we will post it to your door, and it'll be unique just for you. Nobody else in the world will have that. So that's all the ways you can support us at the moment. And well, there's various other ways, but that'll do.
There is more. We can't get into it.
We can't. I'm fucking late. So thank you very much for listening.
All right. See you later.
You've been listening to the Guy and Harley Podcast, proudly brought to you by Pigville Productions.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.